So I shared the other maps that I did on the grid paper and all the drawings and things that people had done, and I figured I've shown people the actual grid map for the table, so I might as well show people the maps that I have made like online digitally. So I use Inkarnate up here, and you can do it all online. Inkarnate's website, inkarnate.com. I'm not being paid to do this at all. I'm just doing it because I really like this website. So you can make your profile. It's free, so you can make free maps, but it's not quite as good as the paid program, which is not that bad because it's either $5 a month, okay, so not bad at all, or $25 a year. So you can pay $25 a year to make maps on Inkarnate, and it's worth it, I think. Now, I don't have any maps published because I keep things to myself. Well, I guess not with this video, but if I go over here to my maps, I have them all in folders. So this is a custom map that we were making for the world, and I'm not really going to get into it because that's more for Davey and Aaron's type thing. But my world is called Nelos, and if I go in here I can show you all the different versions of it. So I've got the 2.0. I'll show you this. So I'll look on it. This was the second time I'd ever attempted to make a world map. Just not very impressive at all. Like, even now my skills are not as great as many of the people that do this. I'll show you some of the people that make maps on here quite often, what they look like here in a bit, but we'll probably in another video. This might be pretty long, so I might split it to two. But this is the most recent map that I've done, and I tried to make it more realistic. So instead of the other one, this one's all jagged and things are around different ways. The maps, a lot of what I've got, I've taken inspiration from other works that I've seen. So, for example, some of these things are actual real world cities. Some of them were influenced by books or video games, but I have added my own, I guess, twist to everything I've done. And split it up by country. And I've taken everything and split it off into sections on other maps so that you can see everything in a closer expanse, and I can actually go through and add more details and more cities. Like the country of Trance here is built around Alfonda Bay on the coast, which is like the largest bay in the world. You can tell by looking at it. But within here and all around this area, there are tons of little islands and even more cities and things up in the marshes here and on the sides of the coast. So I've added more to it on the sectional map that I made, like the regional map, which I'll show. Now go up here, Anthor, of course. The city of Anthor, I actually showed you the grid map that I made of that years ago, like in 2019. I made a grid map. Now, on Inkarnate, you can make things up to 4K in quality. This map is actually 2K. So I can scroll all the way out to here. It's a very, very big map. And then if I scroll in here, I can go that far in. So it goes very close. And I have things from multiple games in here. So the free city of Xenobatos, the group in the current campaign I'm doing have taken this island as payment from the Queen of Anthor, and it's basically a subsidy of the country of Anthor, and they're turning it into a free city. So it's been added to the map, the free city of Xenobatos. I have different countries for different things, like Malagasta. This here, it's not very populated, but it is a massive desert country. And over here, Mithrin is where the elves come from. And then in both mountain ranges, there are dwarven cities. So the city of Blackstone is the Blackstone Dwarfs. They're up here in these mountains, all throughout in tunnels. Down here are the Whitestone Dwarfs. And they worship two separate dwarven overdeities from my game. And I've split up rivers with the paint thingy. Just made little rivers. Tried to name just about everything on here as best I could. When you look at it, it's a lot to look at. But if you split it up, it's not as much. Now, people do make things a lot better than what I've got here. But I think it's nice. I appreciate what I've done for myself and my gaming group. But go back to the overview. I've cloned it. So this is the regular map. I've made a clone. Don't remember why I made it. In ancient times, it looked completely different. So this is their current game they're doing. It's before anything ever happened. So many things have changed. For example, this is the Holy Land for the Wisp Empire, or the Empire of Nelos. None of the cities are here anymore because this is before it was gotten by the Kingdom of Trance. So, building is not allowed. Somebody's texting me. Oh well. But through here, things have changed. Cadessa is more populated. The free city of Xenobatos is the island of Xenobatos. So, Anthor has not given the group access to the island yet. This is way before the history of the current map. Territory that has been banned to build in. So basically the whole middle of the map here is a big no-go zone. Nobody's allowed to go through it unless they're going through the main highway that goes through here. Actually, in both maps, the Blackstone Kingdom here, they have this massive highway that goes under the mountain from a highway this way up through this city. So it's a massive toll road, which in the more modern or future, the Blackstone Dwarves are one of the richest countries because of that. But that's not even a free city. So many things are different on this map. And then the Wisps are a custom race that I built, and they live in these floating islands high above the sky. So it's a clone of the ancient map, but here in red are the Wisp cities. The gray capital, or the white city, which it was later named, it's basically the capital of the Wisp Empire. They've enslaved the world, and in the current game, everybody is trying to take them out. It's a whole world war where the entire world is trying to overthrow their overlords. And there are, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Looks like 14 islands. Yeah, I think I counted that right. 14 floating islands. They're pretty massive. They've got cities on them, high in the sky, and that's where the Wisps live, high above the sky. as they rule the people below and enslave them. But that's a whole other campaign story. The Great War, I'm calling it. So that's the world maps. If I go back to folders, I can go into maps here. Guess I'll show you these. So this is a small little regional map of the area around the city of Cadessa. So Redora is a city. It's a great bridge. Now the Ferox River is basically like the Amazon River. It is huge, massive. Sometimes it's miles to get across in certain places. So this bridge, I didn't exactly label it, but it's called the Great Bridge of Cadessa. It goes like a mile across the river. It's like the major bridge in their kingdom. And then Fairy Woods, Riverton, these are all cities that are around Cadessa that have something to do with it. So like this city is just like a little farming town top outpost. And then up through here, this city is a bit larger. It's on the mouth of the river that goes into the big river, so it's a city of islands. Fairy Woods, there's always fairies in these woods. Various things. They've had to go there multiple times in the campaign, and they've gotten tricked multiple times as well. Different types of forests. So all of this is Neversdale. It's a type of forest to the east of Cadessa. And then Helena Forest is above the city of Helena. It is to the north of Helena, at the west of Cadessa. And then to the southwest is the Fairy Forest, or the Haunted Fairy Woods. So I never made a Sector 2, but this is regional map, Cadessa Capital, Sector 1. So I thought it was interesting to make that. And then, am I still recording? Let's see here. Yes, I am. Cool. Now, up here I've got an ancient version of these blue islands, and that's actually where the Leviathan dungeon was. It was close to this area where they fell down. I've taken many, I guess you could say, inspirations from Asian cities and countries. I've actually named some the same because I'm not fluent in any sort of Asian languages or anything, but I wanted to pay homage to their culture in my world. So these cities here, like Pathfinder's classes, like this is the type of places where you would find lots of kitsune or ninjas or samurai. It's a very interesting little place here. It's hundreds of islands. It's a huge island chain. Huge, absolutely massive. It's their capital city. There's actually a giant volcano about right there that has made all of these islands. I probably slaughtered some of these names, but I did my best. I hope nobody holds it against me. And this is an attempt at a city map, which I'm not the greatest at. So this is the west of the city of Cadessa, like the main city. It's the old town here. It's just like older things, old town shops. So shops. The party in that game actually has a shop in this area that they've made. They call it the Grove. It's run by druidic type people, and they've made it all naturey and stuff. It's very interesting. Everybody that comes to the shop is required to take a flower to spread nature. We've got a markets, shrines to two types of deities. There's an orcish district here and tribal district, so people that would normally be in a tribal setting come to here, because Cadessa is like a melting pot of multiple cultures. So there's an orchard and a jungle here defensive towers are around the entire walls. And they actually have this force field that comes up and protects the city. Stables, fruit markets. The spring and aqueduct for the entire city is in this area. So this is how Cadessa gets their water, aqueduct. So medieval pipes, basically. And wow, that was west. Where else do we go? We'll go southwest. We'll go in order. So the Ghost District and the Slums. So in this area, you would have lots of rogues. So if you were playing a rogue in the setting, this would be your place to get your goods fenced and everything. So here we've got funerals and mausoleums. The Bourgeoisie District, so more middle class. The Graveyard District, and the Slums, like Ghost District, is separated from the rest of the city by graveyards. So here's a sacred grove for natural graves, a very druidic area. There's a giant war going on between the Empire of Nelos, so of course there's refugee camps here. My party, actually with the profits from their shop, started building up the refugee camps and expanding the city. So they did a lot of help for the refugees, and they're turning it into a city outside of the walls, basically. So actual houses and shops and everything else there. More towers and jungle. Not the greatest map, but I like it. I'll show you some very, very well done maps here in a bit. Probably in another video. I'll put that out. The South District. So this is like the military training grounds. The Wisp Slayer headquarters. So they slay the basically the slave overlords. An outdoor archery range, indoor archery range, entire military district, and a massive castle at the south of the wall where the military gets their orders and stuff. Military headquarters. Where's southeast at? Here we go. So southeast we have the Hearth District, which is mostly housing, a second refugee camp, and it borders the river. So there's not really much to southeast Cadessa. We go back to here. We go to southeast, goes to where's east, 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 east. So here's the Great Bridge, spreads over a mile. It's like the Amazon River, so it's actually big enough for ships to row up it. So if things want to trade with Cadessa from the sea, there's actually docks upriver where they can sail upriver to get through the capital city. So there's lots of farms between the city and the water. I've got little farmhouses, got towers, docks, fish market down here by the river, of course. The Travelers District. So when you cross the Great Bridge or come in through the port, basically, the Travelers District is where you would find. You have inns here and little homes of people that live in this area, but a lot of inns and taverns. So go up a little bit northeast. We have another refugee camp, towers, part of the Dwarven town. So there is a Dwarven district. There is a temple here to the Dwarven god of Hogarth. On the other side you have Elven district and the temple of Zykel. Now in the lore, Hogarth and Zykel are actually married. The Dwarven and the Elven deities are together. So that's why they're so close by. Elven estates, because you know, elves are usually rich and highfalutin. The Sand District, so people that would come from like deserts or plains congregate here. Everything's split into districts. We go and we find north. So north here is another big mess. So this is the temple of Frothgar. He is Hogarth's brother. He was a more merry and cheerful dwarven god. He's all about drinking and festivals and merriment. So of course, drinking, festivals, and merriment, there's going to be inns and taverns around his temple. More of Dwarf Town, because of course the dwarves worship him as well. This is the North Barracks, North Stable, more farms, and the Outer Wall Trade Market. It's lots of trade stalls, and the map is so detailed. Like, you can scroll in, and you can see like the individual barrels and the roads, the farms. I'll make another video showing me make a map, maybe. That might be cool. But it's also the Market District, the Temple of Pinari, who is the goddess of nature, and she is married to Frothgar in the lore. So, very interesting. Then we have two more maps in Cadessa, I believe. Northwest. Another refugee camp. The Mercy District and the Passion District. May and Brax are married couple deities. May is the goddess of mercy, and Brax is the god of passion. So these are all houses for people in the districts coinciding with these deities. Here is the other side of the spring and aqueduct. So below the Passion District, you have the Tribe District from the first Cadessa map, West Cadessa. So that's Cadessa's outer rim, basically. The center of Cadessa, we have the Temple of Merlin, who is the king of the deities, his wife, who is the queen, also the goddess of magic, a grand library, a large park that goes around made of grass, a moon lake like a crescent moon, crystal is what all of this is on, just a crystal island. The Palace of Zor, where the emperor resides, of the human emperor, basically. You have the Grand District. So these are your more rich people around the center. The Anthorian embassy. So the country of Anthor, this is their embassy in Cadessa. A great school of Nelos, which is an academy, a theater, an arena, the city guard. And in Cadessa, they have 6 dragon knights. So 6 unique dragons that are basically the 6 generals of the country. They are there to help fight the war against the Empire and bring justice. So Lloyd, the grandson of Bahamut, he's a platinum dragon. Athrax, the largest creature to ever live. Rosa, a undead dragon. Zeeg, who is basically a dragon prince. Shirley, who is a supreme cleric of all dragons. And Gilgamesh, who is basically the daughter of 2 draconic gods. And those are them, very powerful. They serve the emperor. Only out of interest that they have, like being dragons, they wouldn't really associate with the other races as much, because, you know, they're prideful and everything else, but it's all in an attempt to bring freedom for the world. So that's Cadessa. Interesting area. Figured I'd show you that. And then pirate maps. So this is like coastal and regional that I'd made. So you go up here, this is those islands again. there are World Navy bases that is basically a mixture of all of the kingdoms of the world have came together and made a singular navy to fight the pirates. Now this is for that pirate game I was telling you about, Heart of the Sea. And Pinari Wharf is a pirate port here in these waters. Everything else is the same. This is off the coast of Malagasta, the desert island. So there's the Strait of Pardonia, which is between Malagasta and Pardonia. But we have us another World Navy base, base 12, and then the city of Cadessa, Sud Terrell, which is controlled by Malagasta, and a island chain called the Burning Chain. So the Burning Chain of Islands. But that is the west side of Malagasta. We go down here, will actually show us Mithrin, the coast of Mithrin. Now, Mithrin have their own navy. They don't associate with the World Navy. So, this is where the Elven Navy's bases are. Various islands. The Gold Coast, which is along the side. This is where one of the pirate empress, Elsa May, she is an elven pirate empress. She controls that island. So they've got her surrounded, but she's very powerful, so not that it matters. Mithrin controlled Alarazal, the Hollowed Islands, the Free City of Elvenkind. So this is a free city controlled by elves. Well, I guess not really controlled, but mostly elves. It's free to them. There's a Grave Reef. More of Malagasta, where the rivers come out. And then, to go with the theme of Malagasta, since we're already doing it, this is the other part of the island. Now, you only get the corner of it here, but that covers the entire thing. It's the Strait of Partagasta, or Partagasta, it was just Pardonia and Malagasta. There is a Saltian Landing, which is right dead center in all of that. And that is Pirate Port. The port of Epros, which is World Navy controlled. World Navy Base 10, Eagle Rock Port, Pardonia controlled, of course. And then we've got Sunset Beach, Donau, Daya, Harttown, it goes in a little bit, Sinoba. And Daya is a huge city. A lot of people from Cadessa settled here because this is a more modern map. So from the Passion District and the Mercy District that I told you, these people worship May and Brax. So they are the city of Passion, with Brax being their patron deity. There's an old wharf where the pirates sneak into Daya. Old Port Wharf. It's a hidden pirate port in that city. Interesting. And then we go to this area. The Empty Isle is another World Navy base. Turtle Bay, which is lawless part of Pardonia. It's pirate controlled. Fernie, Nemur Archipelago, Strait of Partagasta. So below would be Malagasta. Give you a better look at it. And then the top of Pardonia, which shows the eastern coast of Anthor. So we have as a World Navy base, the Iron Isles, controlled by Blackstone. The Frostchild tribe, but there's a secret with this. I don't want to ruin it, but if you go back and you look at this symbol earlier in the video, you'll figure it out. And then the top, which is Frosty. Silver Moon, which very much a werewolf island. Xenobatos again. Now at this point, they have assumed control of it, made it a free city. So it's a piece of Anthor that's been given. And then, continuing with that theme, we have another World Navy base, Penguin Island, Bone Dry Island, and then the western coast of Anthor. We have a glacier town, a port, and down here we have the country of Trance. So it's not as big of a hub of sailing. We go on down. Well, the next obvious one to show is Alfonda Bay, which a lot of people like it the best. So here we have Albatross Point, which was supposed to belong to Trance, but this little line right here, the borderline, all of this, the marsh, originally belonged to Trance, but pirates have completely taken Storm Harbor. So every single bit of this land right here, these marshes, pirate controlled. So we have lots of islands around here, lots of World Navy bases too around Storm Harbor, trying to keep it under control. But there's the Blue Islands again, World Navy bases. Prisoner Point Landing, which is World Navy controlled. It's where they take them to get them ready to go to Hell's Gate Prison, which is its own massive thing. It's the biggest prison in the game. The Graveyard, which is ruled by the pirate emperor John Bones III. When we see through here, we have Mermaid Landing, which is an island city, decent size. City of Alfonda Bay, which is the biggest city in this part of the map, maybe aside from Storm Harbor. They're both massive. Laderia, Bale, and then Hoax, which is a city that people think does not exist, but it is actually there. Untamed Cadessa with no governance. The Bizarre Bazaar, which is a shop within the jungle and the marsh, like on the edge. It's hard to get to, but it's basically the black market hub of the world. So if you wanted to have something that you shouldn't have, that would be the place to get it. Lost Knife Hideout. It's a little pirate haven in the marsh, or on the edge of it. Interesting map. And then here we have Lower. Now these were once cities belonging to Cadessa, but after the war they have since become free cities. Now Hackjaw Island is where another pirate emperor, his domain. It's Chardak the Wise. He is the Orc pirate emperor. World Navy Base 6. And the theme of this area is primeval, ethereal, monstro, haunted, mysterious things that are creepy and supernatural, because this is very much a haunted part of the coast. We have Cadessa, we have Basil, the Ferox River, Temple of Pinari down there. Now, she has a temple that's in Cadessa, but that is her grand temple that's out in the world. Temple of the Goddess of Nature. This is the least impressive map that I'm wanting to redo, but this is the free city of Lohan, which is the biggest trading hub in the world, because if you go west, it's equal length to get to the east coast of the world. If you go east, it leads to the west coast of the world. So it is right smack in the middle of the ocean, and like a ship line. This is their controlled waters. We have different little islands, and that tells you the east is Alfonda Bay. Vega's Lumiere, that is a player, Ashley. One of the players, Ashley, she never really sat down and played with us, but that was her idea for an island, so I added it. To the west is the Strait of Partagasta, the Molten 8, Royal Navy Base 9, southwest is Malagasta, south is the open ocean, southeast is pirate controlled waters, northeast is the Blue Islands, Anthor controlled waters, a rogue city, northwest is Pardonia. So these are all the little interesting islands around. Those are the regional maps that I've got so far. There's a few of them. And then they actually went through the Shadow Gate. That map I showed you, the Shadow Gate, this is culminating to inside it. So when they first go in the Shadow Gate, this is all they know, based on maps that they've had of the place. So the Shadow Gate is here. Obscurus, which is the city of Obscurial, a Shadow Lord or an evil god. Cinca, who is a Shadow Lord, she is a Lord of the Lurkers. She lives in the Dead Marshes, the Dark Forest. And these little things here are Shrines of Light. So it's the safe havens in this plane. It's the only places where you're safe. So the darkness cannot enter the shrine, so nothing evil can get in. It's the only place where there's any life whatsoever down here, and they're spread and far between. So within the map, it doesn't look like all that much because everything's like big size, but these are many miles between everything. Many miles. So they go there first. This is the 0.5, so you go in here, click on it, go on map. There we go. They get this. Now, to get this next part of the map, they would have had to found survivors at Dueling Cliffs Shrine. I had cool items spread out throughout the Shrines of Light, but from here they get an updated map that leads them all around here and shows them different areas. So they get more shrines they can know. Some have people, some don't. Skygeese territory, he's a Shadow Lord of Gluttony. Mountains of Diviculus, another Shadow Lord. Here they will get the map that leads them to the rest, or the next step. So once they get that, the Deadwoods of Kaibu, which is another Shadow Lord, was basically the rogue of them. More shrines spread out, and then the Baron Refuge is the place where they get the final map. Now, all of this encompassed a few games of trying to go around and figure things out, but it ended up being worth it. So here, the Baron Refuge, this is all they know. They've had telepathic communication with the final refuge, so they had to go from here through all this unknown and navigate their way to it to know what is there. Boggs Forest is around it, so he's another Shadow Lord. Now, unknown to everybody is the Thing in the Depths, which is a shadow lord that nobody knows about. They just know of its existence. Precipitus, or Precipitus, however you want to pronounce it, is a shadow lord. Eratosthenes, the shadow lord. Unknown Shrines of Light. So there could be unknown shrines of light scattered through here. And then they eventually have to find Black Crystal Mountain, which is where they have to get this key that unlocks the gates of creation, and at the same time rescue all of their friends. So, yeah, that is the majority of the maps I have. I've got these and these and these. That one I'm not going to bother showing you because all that is a regular world map that I've sliced in half. I'll show you this. This was basically a precursor to the Blue Islands before basically like a 1.0. Here we have the main city. I've spread cherry trees around. An abandoned windmill. I tried my best to make little reefs. World Navy base here. Mountain. But that's before I made the other one. I wasn't really satisfied with this. And in this one, this is a shared universe between Daveron. So Daveron, which is a world that my friends Aaron and David, they co-DM it. So Galarian is real Pathfinder. That is Pathfinder's actual city. So I'm told Galarian. Don't know 100% everything about Pathfinder, but that's what I think I know. And through here I've got little moons around planets. I have over here this, which is a Pulsifer Minor, Pulsifer Prime, the star of Pulsifer and Atraxia. So this is another little custom planetary system designed for a certain character. This is all of Starfinder's planets from the game Starfinder. Kind of made a little map. The Diaspora, which is an asteroid chain. Tried my best to give each one moons. That was my attempt at giving that planet a ring. Didn't turn out so well, but Gorus Prime. I've put little galaxies in the background, and this green line is the river Styx, the interplanar river as it swims around the universe. Then up here we have Nelos, which is my world, and this big thing is the river Velos, which is another thing from my world. So I've got it so that Velos, Nelos, Pulsifer, Daveron, Galarian, and Starfinder are all in the same universe. Now this here does not coincide with the lore of my particular world. However, it was a little thing that we made for Davey because he was DMing Starfinder. When we made it for him, it connects my world, the world of Pulsifer, Daveron, and Pathfinder to the entire star system of Starfinder, so that when he's DMing Starfinder, he can include all of our universes. So if they get on their starship and they go from Eox to Daveron, they can. Or they can go to Daveron to Galarian, Galarian to Pulsifer Prime, or Pulsifer Prime to Nelos, and back. So yeah, interesting map. That was my attempt at a star system. And then these are the maps that I've made. So there's me in my little hat, but I have not published any of my maps. I've not shared my profile, but yeah, like I said, you can make all kinds of things on here. Some people have made some very killer maps that I'm very interested in seeing, but I'll show them to you. They're in the Explore, but that would make I want to spend a lot of time looking at them, so I'll make that a separate thing. I've already spent a while on this, but like I said, it's $5 a month if you wanted to do it monthly, or it's $25 a year. So it's not that expensive. It's not that bad, and you can make all these for your games. So I hope you liked the video, and if you did, well, I'm glad. Have a good one.